G'day, this is Michael from Fired Up Kilns here. So I figured I'd put a video together as a bit of a quick start guide so you can get firing without too much hassle. So once you've reached this point where you've uncrated the kiln, you have to do a couple of things before you can start firing. So you'll see at the top of this box, a key is taped to it. So open it up and inside you'll find your two type R thermocouples. Unwrap them and you put one in each hole. It doesn't matter which one's which. And then once you've done that, you want to make sure you tighten them up using these screws. Also, this is your manual. Grab that, pull it out. Once that's done, close it back up and I will show you the next step after this video. All right, so once you've done that first part, getting the thermocouples in and you've closed it all up, to switch your kiln on, do the mains first, then the panel on-off switch. You should now see both your over temperature controller and main controller come to life. Straight off the bat, you'll see now that the kiln is reading 20, or the thermocouple's reading 20 degrees right now inside the kiln. You can now cycle through your pattern. So this is currently on pattern 11. By doing this, hit this button, the top right one, and you'll see this is now moving through the patterns. I think the first 6 are presets and 16 is as well, I think. So now then look in to see what each pattern, what your pattern is, hit set. And then what you'll see here is this is level. So this is the temperature. So you enter your temperature there, you want it to get to. You hit set again, and then you would put in your hours and minutes you want it to take. You then hit set once more, and you'll notice we've moved now onto segment 2. And then you pretty much repeat that process, temperature and time, and then if it's a soak, you put in the same temperature and then however long you want it to soak for. And as you then put in your program and you reach the end, let's say hypothetically segment 6 is the last one, we would then hit set once more, so we're in the following one, segment 7, and you would hit pattern end. And this is really important. You pretty much need to tell the kiln, once you've put in your last step, you have to say, all right, and that's it, end, and that's how you do that there. If you didn't want to do that, you can undo it by doing that. To get out of it, or to go to the start, you can just hit reset. Imagine reset is your home button or main menu button. And that'll just get you to the start. So I just want to kind of do an example, I suppose. Let's just do a basic bisque, just so you can see what this is going to look like. So I'm going to hit set once. I want to go to 90 degrees. So I'm going to go left once. Let's go to 90. And I want to get there in about an hour's time, I think. Great, so segment 1, 90 degrees. It's going to take an hour to get there. Now maybe I want to hold it at 90 just to make sure the moisture is out of my pottery. So we'll go to 90, hit set, and let's just soak it there for maybe 30 minutes. So now I hit set again, we're on to segment 3. So let's get to 900. So left, go up to 9, hit again. And I want that to take, let's say, 8 hours. Great, 900 degrees, it's going to take 8 hours time. Hit set again, I'm now on segment 4. Now I want to go to 1,000, so let's move over here, go up 1, and I want that to take 1 hour 40 minutes, because then that'll be 60 degrees an hour. So bring this up to 40, bring this up to 1 hour 40 minute. Hit set again, now we're into the next segment. Maybe I want to soak it at 1,000 for about 10 minutes, just because it's a big kiln and I want the bottom shelf to catch up. So we'll go over again, bring this up to 1,000, and I'll move over to the left once, bring this up to 10 minutes, and that's it, that's my firing done. So now I have to hit set once more. We're in segment 6. Now I hit pattern end, so that's telling the kiln From segment 5, that's it, finish the program, and then that's done. So I can now hit reset, kind of back to main menu, and I could hit run right now if I wanted to start that. But let's just confirm what this program looks like, just to make sure I haven't made any mistakes. So hit set once, we're going to 90, we're going to take an hour to get there. I don't want to edit anything, so I hit set again, that's the time. Segment 2, we're staying at 90 for 30 minutes. From here, segment 3, we're going to go to 900, it's going to take 8 hours to get there. Then we're going to go to 1000, it's going to take 1 hour and 40 minutes to get there. Then we're going to stay at 1000 for 10 minutes, and then it's going to end. So great, let's hit reset. I could now run that program. Something else I forgot to mention, let's say you accidentally hit run, so let's just hit run, and I was like, shit, I actually didn't want to do that. Just hit reset. That is your stop button. So on the left, your over temperature controller this is pretty much your insurance for your kiln. What will happen is, whatever digit you enter here, is that if the kiln reaches that, it will completely turn the whole thing off and avoid a meltdown if for some reason you get a sticky contactor or something goes wrong and the kiln just rockets up. As it says here, set 5 degrees above your top temperature. So this is something you need to change every time you're firing, unless you're firing the same program you've just done. So I put in here, I think it might come out of the factory as 1100, or 1105, but I've figured because it's quite a low temperature, you may as well just chuck it up 10 above, because we're going for the oxidation firing, it's going to be 1100. I've just put in 1110. It's a little bit of leeway. It's not exactly a high temperature anyways. But let's say you're going to do a stoneware firing and you want to go to 1260 and soak for 20 minutes, and that's about a cone 9 or so. What you're going to do is, there are 2 ways of doing it. You can hit F, and similarly to the other controller, it will move through like that. And now I'm going to go up, and if I'm going to 1260, let's take this to 1265. And then I can run my kiln, and if for whatever reason it gets hotter and gets to 1265, it's just going to turn the whole thing off and save you from a meltdown. But one thing that's important to remember, let's say then you're going to go to a bisque and you're going to go only to 1000. Before you fire it, bring this down to, I'm going to leave that at 5. Bring this all the way down to 1005. So again, if it does go over, it will just shut the whole thing down. It's a good insurance policy. So one thing about these controllers is you can't put in a specific ramp rate, but there is a way you can quite easily calculate it. There is an equation which you can do, but a simpler way, if you want to do it, is through glazy.org. For those that aren't familiar with it, it's a really nice website with heaps of recipes and tips, and in this case, kiln schedules. To make them, you need to make an account, so it's free. And then once you've signed up, what you do is you go to My Studio, Kiln Schedules, let's create a new one. So here, with the layout, you can just enter some basic stuff. So I'm just going to do, as an example, a mid-fire cone 6. This is a program that works quite well for me and in most of our kilns. Here you can enter all these details, so you could put in descriptions if you want, and more importantly, here you got your default starting temperature. You can change this each time, so if it's 18 degrees or 20, but again, you don't have to be super specific. And then down here, this is where you'll put in your ramp rates. So the one I like to do is 110 degrees per hour to reach 1080. I don't soak, but for these kilns, for example, now it's told us here, it will take 9 hours and 38 minutes exactly to get to 1080. So what you could do is then in segment 1 you would enter 1080, then for time you'd put in 9 hours 38, and then that means you know it's going to be going 110 an hour. For the second ramp I like to go 60 an hour just because it is more calibrated to the Orton cones. I go to 1180. So segment 2 I would put 1180 and I'd tell it to get there in 1 hour and 40 minutes. Then I put in a soak of around 25 minutes, sometimes 30, depending on the size of the kiln and how densely packed it is. You can see here that you can just put in a soak time, but for the sake of these controllers, it has to be its own segment. So a simple way to do it, just put 1 degree an hour, even though it's not climbing because we're staying at 1180. And then just put a hold, let's just try 25 minutes. You might find this is only cone 5.5, so you could bring that to 30 minutes. But for segment 3, you would then just tell it 1180 for 25 minutes. And then that is done. Then you would, in segment 4, you would put in program end, and that is your program. So it's a nifty little trick if you want to really hone in and get the exact ramp rates for these controllers. After a while, you will kind of it'll become a bit more intuitive. You won't need this as much, but for a starting point, if this is a new type of controller and you want specific ramp rates, this is a really neat trick. So using that mid-fire cycle that we just put into Glazy, I'll then quickly show you how you would want to put it in here. So I want to go to a blank program. I'm assuming 9 will be blank. Yes, it is. Let's hit reset. So let's hit set. We want to reach, it was 1080. So let's just bring this to 80. You kind of work from the right going left. 1080, and the time it was going to take exactly was 9 hours and 38 minutes. So bring this up to 8, 30, and then this to 9. Great. Hit set again. Then we're going to 1180. And it was going to take 1 hour 40. And then segment 3 was going to be holding it at 1180 for 25 minutes. And then that's it. I will hit set again. Make sure I tell the controller to end there. Let's just have a look. Yep, that looks good. Cool, now I could run that if I want. But first, we have to make sure this is good. So if that's going to a maximum of 1180, we need to bring this up to 1185. So that's already on 5, which is good. Let's hit F. And as you hit it again, we can bring this up to 80, hit F once more, bring this up to 1. Cool, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so before you use your kiln with pottery inside it, you need to fire in your new elements. So what this does is it gives the elements a coat of aluminium oxide, which acts as a protective layer between the element itself and the vapors and the fumes that are coming off your clay and glazes. So this is pre-programmed in number 16. So let's get to 16 and have a look at the program. So we'll hit set once. So segment 1, it's going to 1100 in 5 hours time. Segment 2, it'll stay at 1100 for 3 hours. And that's it. So it's an 8-hour program, and what you need to do is have the bung and the tile in until you reach 1000, then leave them out for the rest of the firing, including the cool down. I've been told from the manufacturer that this is preferable because it exposes the elements to more oxygen, thus giving them a better coat.